Hey, what's up, guys? I just got back from North County picking up these Ameravape Manhattan mods, and I gotta say, earlier in the day when I saw some of the posts on their Facebook page about the claimed power levels this thing could hit before crapping out, and they didn't explain it as an inductive or capacitive issue. I'm not sure that they really took that into account when designing it. And I don't know if it was an accident that they managed to solve these inductive and capacitive issues, but this thing is for real, man. Like, I'm eating my hat on this one because this actually does what they claim that it does. Now, I haven't pushed 50 amps through it yet because there's obviously no battery that's going to give us 50 amps. But let me just show you what this thing does down at 0.1. Now, I bought two of them. I bought the brass one, and I bought the aluminum one. And I will say that I've tested both of them now, and the aluminum one definitely pulls just a little bit less current. But I mean, again, it's splitting hairs. It's not an issue where like the brass is, some orders of magnitude better than the aluminum. But I think these guys have really solved the inductive and capacitive issues, at least up to, the point of the batteries that we're able to acquire. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing can't actually exceed the limitations of one of these batteries and blow up the battery. So I'll just, I'm not going to do a review on it or anything like that. Maybe I'll do that later. I just want to show you guys what this thing is doing. So, I think part of the way they solve these issues is this lower pin here. It's basically solid all the way through, and I'll get a pair of C-clip pliers tomorrow or in a couple days or whatever, and I'll take this whole thing apart. I don't really want to screw around with that right now. It's pretty late, but yeah, I'll definitely do some investigation as to why this thing is doing what it's doing. But I'll tell you, it's doing it. So check it out. There's the bottom, and the buttons kind of sucks. I mean, it's crunchy and it hangs up on you a little bit. Like, look, if I push it off to the side, it gets totally stuck. But, if you give it a good firm press in the center, no problems. And I'd really like to see what's down inside of this barrel. I don't know if they're using some kind of tuned magnet system, or I don't know what's going on. But this thing is freaking unreal. So, and I mean, look how strong that magnet is. And it's so strong that look what it does when you push it next to one of their other mods. It's like magic, right? So let's just have a look at this tube. This tube is freaking unreal. I mean, this thing is like a pipe bomb. Look how thick that is. And the way they've chamfered the threads and then sleeved the inside so the battery would still fit is amazing. I mean, this thing is awesome. The construction on this is second to none. Look how well this battery fits in here. I mean, super solid. There's no rattle in this or any kind of BS going on. This is freaking awesome. So let's have a look at the top cap. And the way they've solved this dielectric isolation issue in the 510 connector, I don't even know if we should call this a 510 connector. It's obviously 510 threading. But what they've done with the center pin is pretty awesome. They've basically sleeved the whole thing. So there's no real chance for this thing to jump across to the threads and create a capacitor. I mean, at some point, it will create a capacitor when you oversaturate the pin. But I do have a feeling that, it will hit their claimed 50 amps before that happens, before any inductive loads come into play or capacitive loads come into play, I think this thing will really do what they claim it'll do, which is a first. I've never had anything on the bench that even came close to doing what the manufacturer claimed. And this thing does everything they claim. And I haven't pushed this pin through, but let's push it through and see. So there's more or less why this thing does what it does. There's no breaks in this pin, and it obviously creates a problem when you're screwing an addy down. If your battery is too long or your center post on your addy is too long, like on the Tobe, it's not going to sit flush. But at the same time, like, I mean, who cares? It does what it's supposed to do, and I think it does in fact do what it's supposed to do because of this this kind of, this problem that you wind up with where it can't flush up. But as you can see, when you push that pin through, it's more or less fully sleeved by that dielectric isolator. And I believe that when you screw the addy down onto it, it travels down even further through that isolator, through the dielectric. And basically you have full dielectric isolation between the threads and the pin. I mean, it's amazing how such a simple thing can make such a big difference. But I mean, I might as well stop yapping and show you guys it really does its thing. So let's get this put together. And one thing I did notice, the threads on it aren't the best. It's pretty difficult to screw the addy in. And I'm sure after I'm sure after a couple of good good uses, it'll break in. Those threads will loosen up. If you guys are really paranoid about it, you can put some mineral oil in there, or whatever, and give those threads a little lubrication so you don't score them or round one off. But look at that. Look how difficult it is to screw that in. So as I'm screwing this in, this pin is actually floating down through that dielectric isolator and basically giving it full shielding from that ground plane. By ground plane, I mean the outer threads. I don't even know if I can get this damn thing apart now. There we go. So have a look at that. So that thing is basically fully isolated now within this piece of plastic. And what you can do is you can screw that piece of plastic up even further. So you basically have a fully sleeved insulator going all the way up to that center post. And that's what makes this thing work. I mean, at least that's what I'm predicting. Either that or there's some kind of magic going on. So as you can see, I screwed that in. Hopefully you can see that. And that's now fully sleeved, that connection, that pin, all the way through to the center post. Let's put this guy together. And I could mess around here and show you what it does at 1 ohm and what it does at half an ohm and all that kind of stuff, but who cares? I mean, all the mods seem to be able to handle those kind of loads, but where the other ones fall apart and turn into massive inductors and poor capacitors is when you reach this 0.1 ohm limit. And I'm not suggesting you guys try this because I think this is really pushing the safety limits of the battery. I got a VTC4 in there. Let me just show you guys. I got an LG charging right now. And so, maybe this is the first time, at least it's the first time for me, out of the, hundreds of mods that I've tested, where the battery actually makes a difference. Like, I'll be damned. It will pass 30 amps, or at least that's what I'm predicting. That's what I saw on the last test. So let's verify that that's a charged battery. Boom. 4.197. And screw it. Let's just hit it at 0.1. And we still have that capacitance issue, but check it out. Unlike the other mods, if I leave this one sitting here, that capacitance is going to dissipate to 0. Look at that. None of the other ones did that. They would sit there and hold a nominal voltage indefinitely until you shorted out the capacitor. So I think this is proving that this thing more or less has zero capacitance. And now that's really not the right way to describe it. The way I should say it is that the total capacitance isn't enough to impede the circuit. So, and same with the inductive properties, it's not acting as an inductor at all. My guess is that there's no negative feedback in this thing, and I'll put it on the oscilloscope in the coming days, and I'll try to figure out why this thing does what it does. I really think it's because of that center conductor, and also because of the construction of that bottom button and the wall thickness of this thing. It's crazy. So anyhow, I'm going to shut up and just do this real quick. So, as you can see, battery's charged 0.1. I'm not even going to bother with anything else. Look at that. It almost gives us 30 amps. Now, what scares me about doing this is look at how much that battery is sagging. 2.8, 2.7, that's definitely not safe. So like I'm not going to recommend that this thing is, you know, good for 30 amps. Just because it'll pass close to 30 amps doesn't mean that it's safe. I mean, that's a freshly charged battery and it's pulling over 2 volts off of it. So, you know, I'm not sure that that's a good idea. Now, I did the same test on the aluminum one, and it was more or less the same. It was in, you know, within like 1/10 of an amp of this one. So I'm not even going to bother to take this one apart and screw it into this one. Just, they do the same thing. I bought 2 of them. And like I said, this isn't a full review, and I don't intend it to be, but, you know, really nice packaging, quality product, very well made. Thumbs up to these guys. These guys are definitely doing it. They're definitely the real deal. This is not hype. You know, these guys put their money where their mouth is, and this thing performs. I mean, let's do it again. Look at that. 28 amps. It's still not 30 amps, and I don't dare push that resistance down lower. I know Rush was saying he hit it at 0.08. I mean, let's see. I don't know how brave I am tonight, but let's give it a shot. All right, there's 0.08. And let's see if we can get 30 amps out of this thing. Again, I really, really don't recommend you try it this exact way, because this is pretty sketchy. I honestly, I'm a little bit scared that this battery is gonna, you know, go into thermal runaway on me. But I'll tell you for sure, the mod isn't even getting warm. Like, I mean, I can touch it. When I would do this even on like a full copper, like the Ember or, you know, the Scroll or whatever, I mean, they'd get so hot that I'd start to get scared. And, you know, when I did this kind of stuff on something like a King mod or a Nemesis or whatever, it got so hot it burned my damn hand. This thing doesn't even get warm. Like, you can't even tell. And that's maybe another, you know, danger zone is I don't think you'd be able to really tell if the battery was going into thermal runaway until it was too late. This thing is so well insulated, the thickness of this tube and the amount of material, you know, so just, if you guys go out and get one of these, just be careful, you know, don't go hitting it like all crazy thinking it's gonna, you know, somehow be safer than anything else. There's still the limitation of the battery. So anyhow, I'm rambling here. Like I said, the aluminum one did the exact same thing. I bought 2 of them. I think this one was $200 and this one was $230. I got them up at Mix Vapes. Thanks to Ben for that. That's really awesome that you guys took the time to put up with me and give me these things. And like I said, if I had to pick one of the 2, I mean, they're both beautiful. That thing looks awesome. Finish on it is gorgeous. But if I had to pick between the 2, I'd take the brass one, because this thing is built like an absolute tank. I don't think you're ever going to break this mod. You know, I drop it, roll it down your driveway, run it over with your car. This thing is not going to break. So let's give it a shot at 0.08. I'm going to confirm the battery first because I'm a little scared about, okay, 4.1. It didn't sag too bad. Well, let's see what we get at 0.08. Boom, 34 amps. Freaking unbelievable. That is way, way past the safety limitation of this battery. Like, I'm almost tempted to recalibrate my test equipment because I can't believe what's going on. The battery is a little bit warm. And you'll also notice, I think there's another safety problem here, that top pin is, it's kind of crushing the top tab of the battery. So, you know, keep your eye on it. If you guys are going to go nutty with this thing and build down to like 0.03 or whatever, just really, really keep an eye on it. Like I said, you'd never know if this thing went into thermal runaway. But let's do that again. I'm totally freaking blown away. 34 amps. Awesome. Look at that. 90 plus watts on a mechanical mod single battery. That's freaking retarded. This thing is an absolute game changer. Like nothing I have tested even comes close to this. So, you know, obviously, before everyone runs out and buys one, you know, I guess we have to question, well, you know, is it really necessary to vape at 90 watts? Well, I don't know. I'm gonna try it in a minute here and see if it's even doable. But for sure, all I want to show here, I don't want to give any opinions, but these guys definitely put their money where their mouth is. This thing does every single thing that they claim, and I think that's awesome. There is no hype involved. This is one of the first manufacturers that I've ever seen who can back up, you know, their claims. They talk the talk and they walk the walk, and that's thumbs up in my book. Like, that is doubly awesome. I wish everyone in the vape industry would do what these guys are doing. So big props to Ameravape. You guys are awesome. Whatever it is you're doing it right. Keep doing it. Hope you guys enjoy the video. I'll do a full teardown and review of this thing in the next couple days.